Hi, this is Lada from Astrolada.com with your May 2017 horoscopes, and those horoscopes will be very special because they will cover not only May but the next year and a half. So you're getting a deep insight into the next year and a half, because I'm going to focus in the May videos on the change of signs of the North Node and South Node, or also I like to call them Rahu and Ketu. It's easier. They're changing signs from Leo into Aquarius from May 2017 till November 2018, which means our karma is changing, guys. The big lessons, Rahu and Ketu, are the reasons we incarnate in this life. To learn lessons and to let go of things. To learn new things and to let go of old things. Ketu is letting go, Rahu is learning new things. So this is the North and South Node. And I'm going to teach you where you can progress throughout the next year and a half. Starting from May, because Rahu is where we can progress and get material results and use our willpower, and where you can get liberated and release old things. And if you follow this pattern, this is your recipe for success. So guys, I'm giving you a recipe for success for the next year and a half. And you can even go back to my October 2015 videos when I was talking about the previous change when Rahu and Ketu for the past year and a half, they've been in the two signs, Virgo and Pisces, and you can check them out for your sign and see how correct this was. And then you can listen to the May ones that will cover up to November 2018. Such an important big deal, honestly. The consciousness shifts, the karma, the lesson shifts in a big way. And we're going to see how this impacts each sign. And don't forget, May is also another good month because Mercury is turning direct. Planets, Venus is already direct, so the complicated issues and intensity of April is starting to fade away. We'll pay attention to that as well. But just to remind you guys, May, from the middle of May, from the 14th, I'm starting a 6 months foundational astrology course, which is just $200. It's going to be 12 weeks. We're going to do that twice every month, basically. And it's going to be all about the 12 signs, all about areas we're starting. You can either get the full course for 50% discount, $200, so you can get a few, videos, maybe a few courses, all about Aries, all about Taurus, whichever sign you're interested about, which is just $29. But if you want to learn astrology from scratch, and if you want to know information that is not there, and I promise you again, I bring you for sources, esoteric, deep, ancient, modern. It's going to be my best course, basically. And if you want to really understand astrology in depth and start from the bottom, this is the course for you. So come and join me. While till May, it's still just half price, $200 for the whole course, or $29 for all about Aries. And yeah, thank you so much. Virgo, May 2017. And first I'll tell you a few words about May in particular, and then we're going to go into the big change of the karmic node sign and how they're going to impact you for the next year and a half. But first of all, Mercury, the planet that rules all Virgos, whether it's your ascendant, sun or moon, is turning direct. And it's happening from the first week, basically, of May. So the first 7-8 days, things start moving back to normal. Because when your planet moves retrograde, we are subjected to basically some kind of surprises often that happen, having to change plans, having to develop plan B and C, seeing things from a different perspective, that it can feel a little bit, or even taking a respite a little bit. And when your planet starts moving in the forward direction, again, it's like things start normalizing again for you, and you can rely much more on your plans, you can rely much more on any kind of organization and management and business, and on your deductible and logical skills again. So if you were working very hard on some mercurial project over the past few weeks before that, fixing something, correcting something, editing, renegotiating something, having to put extra effort in some commercial activity, in some educational, communicative, or relationship activity of communications, which is Mercury. Now things start showing its results, the results of the hard efforts that you put, the results of those maybe delays or those changes of plans and changes of perspective, because the Mercury is the mind and it rules you, and your perspective might have changed and you've seen things from a different angle, and you've probably fixed something or changed or edited something in your life. Now it starts to untangle and to come back to normal. And you also have Venus most of the month in your 8th house, where Mercury also goes direct in your 8th house of other people's resources. So on a positive note, you can expect whatever Venus moves to receive something. It's a small benefic, so you can receive a present from someone, or some tax return, for example, in May, or something Venus facilitates, makes easier, or maybe something becoming easy in regards to something to do with insurance, in regards to something to do with inheritance, in regards to something to do with mutual resources, so money coming to you from clients, for example. 8th house is other people's resources, or maybe some paycheck you've been expected, or return of a book in the least case scenario, something or some kind of amount or financial moral support that comes to you through others you can receive in some way. While Venus and Mercury are in your 8th house. But now let's go to the most important event that's happening in May for anyone, and for Virgos as well. Maybe you won't feel it immediately from May, but this video, you should come back to it over and over for the next 1.5 years, because I'm going to outline for you what is the strategy for success for Virgos. And actually for the past 1.5 years, the karmic nodes were in your sign. Rahu was in your sign. So for many Virgo people, whether it's your ascendant, very strongly your ascendant in Virgo, moon or sun, some of you, many Virgos had to go through big life changes, karmic changes, because the nodes, you know, they create the eclipses, and when they're in your sign, and Rahu is in your sign once every 19 years, it will come back again in 18 years, sorry. But it's leaving your sign, so kind of those surprises and vicissitudes and ups and downs and big karmic changes, they're starting to die down and to calm down. So almost like you're coming out of the eye of the storm. Many of you who've been Virgo, if you go back over the past 1.5 years, maybe not the whole 1.5 year period, but here or there periods, that big karmic changes that are happening, that change your status in a big way, change your life direction in a big way. And you're coming out of the eye of the storm, and Rahu is moving away from your sign, guys. And it's coming into your... And Rahu taught you to be independent while it was in your sign in the past 1.5 years, because Rahu develops whatever it transits, and for Virgo it helped you to be more independent, to focus, even if it was at the cost of losing relationships, where Ketu was in the 7th house, even if it was at the cost of letting go of certain connections and contracts and agreements with others in the 7th house. But it taught you independence, and it taught you, put you on a more path that is more aligned with your karma, and helped you develop your strength. The 1st house is your own personal strength. And now Rahu is moving into your 12th house for 1.5 years till the end of 2018. And it's kind of 12th house is much more personal, private. It's not gonna lead to such huge, you know, the big changes are kind of starting to subside. Of course, it's very relative. Your personal horoscope, you might be having your sun in Leo, where Rahu is moving, so there is another 1.5 years of big changes, or your moon in Leo, so there'll be another 1.5 years of big karmic changes. Karmic is not necessarily bad. It can mean, you know, meeting soulmates, starting a family, ending a family, life, birth, death, you know, all those big matters are Rahu Ketu cause, because they bring the karmic events that are predestined for us. But because, just speaking generally about Virgo, Rahu moving into a 12th house puts the focus much more on the spiritual, psychological, emotional level for you, rather than on tangible material level. And what is your strategy for success, Virgos, for the next 1.5 years? Well, we have to let go whatever Ketu is. The more we resist, the more it persists, whatever Ketu is, the more it gets out of control for us. And the 6th house is a very Virgo house, because it corresponds to the Virgo sign, you know, the 6th house. So you're kind of going to be losing a little bit of your Virgo-ishness. And for some of you, it might be very hard task. For some of you might be great news, but sixth house is the house where we worry about things, where we want to control everything with our willpower, where we want to fix problems, where we pay attention to every detail, and we have to do it the way we want to do it, and we always like, sixth house is very Virgo-ish. Virgo is precision and niche and having it done in a specific way, and trying to control the outer material life, materially, your body, your health, trying to control it, trying to control your job, your work, the sixth house, trying to control the outer circumstances of your life. And Ketu there, it's about emptying, it's about letting go of those very Virgo-ish qualities. So one good thing that can happen over the next year and a half is that it can liberate you, because Ketu on the positive higher level is liberation, and it's a moksha planet, as we call it. It's very spiritual, but it detaches us, it releases us from strong attachments and strong desires. And as you know, the biggest source of suffering is our strong desires. But for Virgo it might be hard, because Virgos tend to like attention to detail, to control the environment, to control the health, to control their work, you know, to everything to be planned without surprises. So that might be a little bit hard, because you have to let go of this control now if you're Virgo, and the universe will force you. And the more you try to control those things, your health, your routines, your plans, the outer environment, the outer world, the more it gets out of control, even your work environment. And it's almost like you have to learn in the next year and a half to let go and let God. Wherever Rahu is in the 12th house, a very spiritual house, is the sea of the subconscious, is the invisible world, is mystical house. It's not connected to details and practical material things. It's connected to much more spiritual. It's about dissolving almost like your willpower, dissolving your plans and allowing the destiny or higher purpose or God or whatever you call it, is the 12th house, the invisible world, your higher self that you're not aware of unconsciously. It's still part of you, but the plan of the higher self, it's not known to us. And you go into the waters of this higher self, this hidden 12th house of the invisible, of the karmic forces put into action from previous lifetimes, from previous contracts, so, from much higher perspective rather than our everyday reality, mundane world and what is familiar to us. And you have to relinquish the need to control all those details. This is your strategy for success, Virgo. For some of you, it can be a welcome relief from, it can naturally, Ketu can naturally dissolve stress and worry. But if you're resisting that and trying to be very Virgo-ish, very sixth house, plan everything, organize everything, it's not going to be happening according to that. But maybe it's a welcome respite to let go now for the next year and a half, and to allow things to unfold on their own, which is the 12th house. To allow and to trust whatever Rahu is, we have to consciously allow it and work on it if we want to have a success, because Rahu brings success. Rahu brings material manifestation and progress. And we do want to progress, don't we? And the progress comes to us if we abandon, you know, the need for perfectionism, for controlling everything, and giving to the higher self, or giving to spiritual practices. So take more time alone. Travel. Like I knew someone who had Rahu transiting their 12th house. They've never been in a foreign country before. And they've worked for years and years and years without taking a break. And Rahu entered their 12th house, Ketu entered their 6th house, and 6th house is also work and duty and responsibilities, where we give service. So where being an employee, working for a company, following religiously your duties and responsibilities, which Virgos are notoriously good at doing, basically. And this guy's job dissolved. And he let go of it. Actually, there wasn't much, it was easy for him. There wasn't much attachment that he put there. He was like, oh, it's time to let go of this job, this worldly responsibility. This, I've worked enough, I've paid my dues there, you know. And he started traveling in foreign countries for the first time, because 12th house rules faraway places, places that are very different, that are unexplored, you know. So he kind of, you know, he was liberated. Ketu is liberating from more responsibilities and duties, So he can explore this 12th house consciously, which was foreign travel. 12th house rules foreign travel. He could do research. He didn't start working because Ketu dissolved the work, but he kind of did a lot of research, a lot of spiritual work as well. And even if you're not spiritual, you will be doing maybe investigating things about past lifetimes, which is 12th house, things about spirituality, things about foreign cultures, things about research. It can be a great time for people that, for example, are doing some kind of a research behind the scenes, because Rahu can give fast progress, remember? And they'll feel good in an environment, secluded environment, the 12th house. They'll have more than enough opportunities to be in secluded environment to do some work, which is 12th house, like laboratory work, or maybe preparation for a PhD, or maybe research for the next chapter in your life, for example. And some kind of people that, any kind of even scientific research is the 12th house, and Rahu can give sudden progress and advancement there in any research that you're doing. But usually in other more material things are a little bit out of control. Maybe it's time to let go of that job that has been draining your energy, that has been stressing you mentally. Maybe it's time to let go of certain health routines that you've been keeping or not keeping, because Ketu will help you dissolve unhealthy routines, and sometimes even healthy routines and daily activities which are outdated, which are not helping in some way. And sometimes this can be a bit upsetting for Virgo, because they like their routines, they like their, whether it's a workout routine or certain dietary plan, it can go out of the window. It can be released over the next year and a half, because it's just the person lose interest toward you, you become apathetic towards it. So, and things become more chaotic. 12th house doesn't have order and structure, and Ketu releases the order structure of the 6th house. But this is not bad. Actually, you need it. So it's kind of almost like adapt a state of mind that you can't control everything over the next, especially material things. And I'm not saying you're going to lose money, you're going to become poor, you're going to lose your job, and you're going to start wandering in foreign countries, or just fantasizing and exploring spiritually, becoming a loser, whatever. No, but it just can mean that, for example, being liberated from some duty and responsibility that's been going on for too long, or the too strict expectations you have towards self, a sense of responsibility towards something, or some job, or some career, or some kind of a health routine of yours that possibly been doing more stress to you. And when we put unrealistic high expectations of ourselves, which is the 6th house, which is the Virgo energy, this perfectionism to detail, this can actually stress the nervous system, and this can stress our health much more. And now it's time to learn that you can't control those things, to let go of them. So do it consciously, rather than waiting for the universe to show you that you're not in control, for all those worldly things. Do it consciously, release it. If things don't go exactly like you've always planned or how you expect, don't stress yourself to death. Allow to have faith and trust. 12th house is the house of faith and trust. 12th house is ruled by Jupiter, the invisible world god, the divine. Maybe develop your spirituality. People go on spiritual journeys, or people just spend more time alone, looking within their soul, because it's not all about controlling the outer environment and being healthy and following routines. It's sometimes feeding the soul, and this is what Rahu helps. And another way I've seen is that a lady, when she had Rahu and Ketu transiting her 12th house, her health went down. And she's been working for years, and her workplace started becoming so unsatisfying, and health problems started appearing. And the only way for her to remove those health problems was to remove herself. Ketu is about letting go from that career, that work environment, that toxic, unhealthy environment. And she stopped working for a few years. And actually, she focused on improving her soul. She was traveling. That's another example, very similar. Or another way I can see it is like letting go of work, of some career, of some work, of some sort of duty or responsibility, or maybe even dissolving some debt. That's a good way it can work, Some burden that you've been carrying, some debt is the 6th house, financial debt, for example. Ketu can somehow dissolve it, It can release you from a debt. That's a positive manifestation. So you're free to explore more, but you have to trust the higher power. You have to trust your intuition. The intuition increases tremendously. Even though Virgo is a very cognitive, mental sign, you'd find yourself that your intuition is kind of surprises you, because Rahu develops this 12th house over the next year and a half, and which is connection to those invisible things. And actually some of the biggest visionaries, they were born with Rahu in the 12th house, with the North Node in the 12th house, like Tesla, for example. And he said that his imagination was so vivid that he would basically see all his inventions ready, and he, in his mind, his imagination, he would see them ready, and he didn't know whether it was true or not, whether he thought sometimes they were real, you know. And I'm not saying you're going to become Nikola Tesla, but definitely your imagination, your creative imagination will increase your intuitive ability to solve problems, not by fighting and struggling and trying to control the situation, but solving problems on the intuitive level. You might dream solutions of problems. You might just for once decide not to do anything about it, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. You know, so this is the kind of state of mind you have to adopt, like take it more easy, explore it more spiritual, explore, maybe even do some traveling over the next year and a half, maybe do some research, go have more time alone, and develop new ways of relaxing and releasing, because 6th house is controlling the environment, is work, is giving your service. 12 houses, escaping mundane reality, relaxing, releasing, hopefully do it in a healthy way. The negative manifestation of Rahu in the 12th house is it can really intensify, because Rahu magnifies addictive or escapism tendencies. So if you already have escapism tendencies that are not healthy, you know, Rahu can intensify them. But Rahu also wants to explore new such tendencies, new such escapism which are healthier. So it might be through starting to, I don't know, watching more TV, or starting some creative hobby, listening more music, but meditating, some spiritual practice, because 12th house is about releasing, and you're learning new ways to relax, to, you know, to let go of things. You're learning new ways to control your spiritual environment, not even control it, to soothe it, so to speak. So trying to control the details and things can backfire, or will be just more painful for you, because Ketu does not create, you know, the solution. But as we said, it has its positive side. It can dissolve debt or certain things, duties and responsibilities, and even perfectionism streaks, which might have been stressing you too much, and you might have been beating yourself about it, why it's not perfect, why it's not happening, and Ketu can make you all of a sudden, whatever, you know, like you can't change everything, you can't make everything perfect, and that can be a welcome respite for your Virgoish, perfectionism in a sense. And diving into this 12th house, which is much more Piscean in nature, you can feel now over the next 1 year and a half what it is like Pisces feel like, what it is to go down with the flow rather than resisting it and trying to make it fit the perfect image, and what it is to go down with the flow and still have things work out for you. So anyway, that's what I see for you guys. Maybe come back later in following months to see if these things that we're talking about are coming into fruition. So thank you so much. I hope you come to my all about Aries or all about the 12 signs webinars, which are starting from May. You can just get one of them, or you can get all of them, and we'll go so in depth. That will be the astrology of all the astrology you need to read people's charts, personalities, and predict for them even things. So anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you next month.